Hi everyone, thanks for joining us for Valentine's craft. You're going to need a pen or a pencil, some paper, some either E6000 or some glue, and I'm going to be using a hot glue gun. And those are just Dollar Tree glue sticks. I've got some scissors, some for paper and some for fabric. I've got a needle and some thread. Now you can sew these together, but I'm just going to again use the hot glue. And then I've got a clip. There's different types you can use. I have both a clothespin or an alligator clip here. And then I've also got these bar pins, which is what I'll be using for one. And then I'm going to use the little metal alligator type clip for another. So this is so that you can pin it onto yourself if you want, or whoever you're giving it to if you're going to give it to someone. And then these are my felts I'll be using. I've got a light pink, a medium pink. I've also got red and a fuchsia color. And then I've got white. So you can really use whatever colors you want. You can use a different type with this like this floral, but I'm going to not use that. And then you could also use, you see I have purple, and you could use whatever. So I like to use scraps, save them, and use those as much as I can. And then I kind of just decide what I'm going to do. You can either make a plan ahead of time. A lot of times I just wing it and go with whatever. Now some of the felts are a little harder and stiffer. Some are a little more flimsy. You might want to combine them or just layer them so that they'll be a good thickness depending on what you're going to use this for. So first off, I'm going to start by drawing out a little mushroom, which is going to be my first thing. Now, usually I use a pencil, but I misplaced my pencils. I have no idea what I've done with them, so I'm using a pen here. So I will show you how I do things, and then I'm also going to make a heart, which I will then use my scissors that are just for paper, and you'll see I just fold it in half or as close to half as I can, and then I choose which side I like best, and I go ahead and cut that out. So then you'll see that you've got the whole mushroom, and the sides look more even when you do it like this. Now you don't have to do it like that. You can also use cardstock if you want, but I chose to use paper. Then what I did is I just drew around that top section so that I can make the top part of the mushroom. I like to do the whole piece and then put another piece on top. And there's a couple different reasons why I do this, and I'll get into that. Now with the heart, I'm going to do the same thing. Fold it in half, choose which half I like best, and then go ahead and cut it out so that it's even on both sides and it looks better. So I'm going to take my white felt, put my mushroom on. Now you can pin this on. I chose not to. Now because I had that little notch at the top and the little stem fit down in there, that's how I'm going to cut it out, because I try to use as little as possible of my materials so that I can make more. And then we're just going to go ahead and follow that pattern and cut it out. Once we've done that, then I'm going to choose which color I want for my top of my mushroom, which I decided I'm going with red. I went ahead and just cut a little square out with that pattern on top of it, and then went ahead and trimmed that down. And you'll notice like it didn't seem like it was cut very well, so I trimmed a little more off, and then I put it on there. Didn't like how that fit, so I trimmed a little bit more off, and I just keep adjusting it as needed until it fits like I want it to. Now with these little pieces, what I do a lot of times is I save my little scraps if they're big enough just to do different things with. On this one I wanted to put a little heart down there on the bottom on the stem, so I went ahead and cut that out of one of my little scraps that I had from cutting it out. And then I just went ahead and made that little heart, which was fairly easy to do. You know, you can do it on those corners really well just because you've already got that point of the bottom of your heart. So that's the heart I'm going to use. And then with my big heart, I'm going to choose to go with this pink. And because I had that notch again, I went ahead and stuck that bottom part of the heart down in there because I thought that's going to be perfect. That is going to work really well for me. And then it gives me a little extra room in some of the other areas to use for other things. So again, it was a little bit off, so I just went ahead and trimmed it. Like sometimes there'll be little cut marks and stuff. And you'll notice I switched to my scissors that are my cloth scissors. Now with this, I decided last minute that I wanted to do something a little different with my heart. And so I decided I'm going to use this kind of a fuchsia color. And I wanted it to be bigger, but yet I wanted to not use too much, so I just kept adjusting it. And then what I did here is I wanted to do little bumps and, you know, an edge to the heart. So I just kind of made it up as I went along. Now you can draw this out ahead of time and cut a pattern out if you want. Mine's a little wonky, which, you know, but I'm okay with that. And I think it makes it look a little different and a little fun. So I just went ahead and went with it. And if you don't like it, you can always cut it down, use it for something else. Like I could have made just a regular heart out of that if I wanted to. And so here I'm just trimming that heart down because it was a little big for the other thing I made. And so, you know, again, just little adjustments as I go. Not a big deal until I get it to where I like it. So then what we're going to do is we're going to grab our bar pin, and you'll notice there's a back part of the pin and a front part of the pin. So what you're going to do is you're going to measure things out. I just put it on there to measure it just because for me that's the easiest way to go. And I'm going to cut like a little notch in there on both sides for that pin to go through. So you'll see I'm just folding the fabric just slightly and just doing a little clip with the tip of the scissors, and that's going to be where part of that bar goes through. And then I'm going to measure it and do it on the other side so that the other side of the bar pin can go through. And then you'll open that bar pin up and you're going to stick that needle down through one of those holes, and then you'll stick the bar down in there, and then you'll do the same thing on the other side. You'll stick the side of that bar through that other hole that you made so that your pin is there on the other side. Now you can decide which way you want your pins to go. It's really up to you. I did mine probably backwards from what most people would do, but I like them pointing up. I don't know, I have a weird thing about that. And so I just went ahead and did it that way. Then you add a little bit of glue to kind of keep that bar on the material. And I just pressed it down with my scissors there. Once I've done that, I'm going to put my top part of my mushroom over where that bar is, and that's going to hide it. So you're not going to see that bar. You're just going to see the back side of the pin on the back of your little mushroom pin. Now I'm going to put my little heart on. And at this point in time, I decided, okay, do I want to just do some little round parts? You know, there's a couple different options. Some little round bits for the mushroom, or do I want to do hearts? And so I decided I wanted to do both. So here I'm just cutting out a little heart out of the white material or the white felt and putting that on there as some of the little dots that go on your mushroom. And then I'm also cutting out some little round dots for it. And I really liked that, but I decided I wanted just a little bit more. So I felt like the 3 is not enough. You can choose how much you want to put on there, a lot or a little. And like I said, you can do round or you can do hearts. You could do them all hearts if you want, or all just polka dots, however you want to do it. And I could have left it with just the dots and the 1 heart, but because I had 1 heart on the stem, I decided to do 2 hearts up there on the top of the mushroom. And then I just played around until I found a way that I liked it. And we're gonna go ahead and glue those on. And just be careful not to get the hot glue on yourself. I a lot of times will use a little finger protector, which I didn't use on this, so it's really up to you. Just be careful. Sometimes it's nice just to have a little cup with some ice water in it in case you do burn yourself. Like if you get some on you, just stick your finger in there immediately, and that way it'll harden up quick. You can get it off your skin and it'll stop that burn. So as you can see, it's just the pin there on the back, and then you've got your front. But I noticed that it's still a little flimsy, so I decided I was going to take my leftover felt and cut it down a little bit. We're just going to cut a little strip off of there and add it to the back so that it adds stability and firmness to the material. So you'll go ahead and undo your pin. Right. Once I do that, I'm just going to glue it down on there. Now, you can try doing it either way. Felt a lot of times will have kind of more of a fuzzy side and not. I just choose which side I want down and glue on that side. So it's really up to you how you want to do it. And then I just press that down to let it get a good glue and firm it up a little bit, and then I'm going to close that back and get some of that excess glue strings off of there. You can do whatever you like to get rid of those. And there you have a cute little mushroom pin. And I decided at this time I was going to go ahead and add just a little bit more. So I got some of my green thread, went ahead and tied that in a little knot. It was a little bit tied a little strange, and as I tried to pull it through, it just went right through. So I went ahead and tied that again, and went ahead and started sewing. Now, if I had thought this through ahead of time, I would have done it before I added that material in the back. That way I wouldn't be sewing through both. And this needle was a little bit dull, so I had a little bit of a hard time getting it to go through. But I just went ahead and added just a little swirl on there to go with the heart on the bottom of this mushroom. And I just wanted a little extra design there. And as you'll see, I just sort of go ahead and freehand that and get it to my liking. A lot of times what I'll do is if I don't quite like it, or I feel like my spaces are too far, I'll just go ahead and sew back the other direction and connect it a little bit more, and then that way it looks more like a solid line. Another thing you can do here is you can use a pen if you'd like, if you don't feel confident enough to sew. I'm not great at doing these type of little sewing embellishments, so a lot of times I'll use a pen, but this time I had decided to use the thread. So this is where I'm showing you, if you wait to sew or you think about it and you want to sew that on first, do that and then put your felt over it. Now with the heart, what I'm showing there is you can either sew it or glue it. I mean, you can do that with any of them. I personally just wanted to make it quick and easy, something that you can also do with your children so that, you know, you can make little fun pins for class members and they can put them on their Valentine's cards or whatever you want to do. And so with this one, I kind of just went with what I wanted to do or what I felt I wanted to do, and I didn't want to do any embellishments, so I just went ahead and cut out another heart out of the white and put that on. And you'll see I just kind of layered them up to make them how I wanted. Now this was a little bit lighter pink, and I decided I wanted to put a lighter pink heart on there as well, and so I went ahead and added that. And that way, you know, it just kind of gives it a little more depth to it, and that'll complete my heart for this. Now I didn't want to use a bar pin on this one because I wanted to show you something a little bit different. So what I'm doing with this one is, again, I'm using that little alligator clip, and I'm just going to glue it on the back. You can glue it a couple different ways, and again, I show you the little clothespin, but I just felt like the clothespin was a little too big for this one, so I went ahead with the alligator claw. But again, it just kind of is there to show you that you can use whatever you want and different types of things depending on what you want to do. With these clips, it's really fun because you can clip it on a card, you can clip it on a gift bag, you can clip it on any other type of bag, you can clip it to yourself. It's really whatever you want to do, especially with these type of pin or clips. It's easy. You can do it in your hair if you want, and it really just makes for a little bit of extra fun. And here I'm just grabbing this E6000 to show you how it clips on. And now you can clip it anywhere you like. So that's going to conclude our Valentine felt craft. Hope you enjoyed, and hope to see you next time. Please share, like, subscribe, and remember, if I can do it, you can do it. Enjoy.